Thought I'd check in with you on our internship coursework here. I have activated the AGRC 230 and 227 Blackboard shells and made the content available for you so you can access the handbook as well as some of the other materials that are critical to completing your internship. If you did not pick up a handbook in the bookstore prior to us closing down, you'll have to deal with what we have available online. I've dropped this in here in the coursework page, which is where most of your information is. Before we get into where a few of these things are, I just want to reiterate, those of you who have internships already set up, I would be reaching out to your employers to figure out what the scenario is as we deal with this coronavirus business. What their expectations are and some of the worries and concerns that you may have in working with them. Those of you who do not have internships set up at this point, we've got to get on the stick here because we have a few weeks to wrap that up so that you have a place to go or we have an understanding what our game plan is. Just a reminder for the 230 course that occurs here in the springtime, we need to clock 150 hours to get your 2 hours of credit. And then in the summertime, another 300 hours in order to complete that credit. If we have to move some hours one way or the other in order to make sure that that gets accomplished appropriately, we can make that happen. Just please communicate with Bill and I. And as always, if you have any questions, please message one of us and let us know. On the screen here, as we migrate around, I'm going to show you here just real quickly the SOE Handbook. That is a PDF form you'll find in the course resources link as well. One of the critical things in there is we open up that file that I do need for you to print off and have signed and completed. And I'll scroll down through several of these things here, and I'll come back to a couple of items. So bear with me a second. One of them is this training agreement that here is on page 21. If you can print page 21 and 22 and have it signed and scan it in some way and send it back to me, that would be outstanding. That is one of the key critical pieces that we need to have completed for our paperwork in terms of with you and your employer. That's one of the key things to get done and out of the way as soon as you possibly can. The other items in that handbook, you'll see a work experience reflection sheet. You'll see some projects. Basically, I don't want you to worry about taking on any projects. Bill is going to be uploading the template for the poster project that we do with SIU that carries some scholarship monies with it. He will be uploading that very soon. But basically, some of those things in there are just as reminders on what to do here and there. But I don't want you worrying about writing a bunch of things and filling a lot of that out. A couple of those things are outdated and we've gone away from some of that. This hours worked e-form here, that is a confirmation of the hours that you put in. We don't need copies of time cards or time sheets or anything like that. I just want you to log the hours that you've completed. As you go through, we use the honor system, and for the most part, that has always worked pretty good. Just a reminder, Bill and I will be checking in with your employer, so we'll know if you're not completing the amount of hours that you should be doing. Next down is the work experience supervisor evaluation. These are to be done at the completion of your internship, both spring and summer. So we'll need 2 of those if you're taking both of these courses. Completed by your supervisor. There is a paper copy one that you can just print and hand to them and then get back to us. And there's also electronic version form that you can have them complete and fill out, and that will flow back to us. So either way of those, whichever is most handy for you and your cooperating supervisor, will be just fine with us. Finally, down here is kind of your capstone project with your internship. Besides the poster project, is a basic internship PowerPoint. So if your employer allows it, snap some photos of you in action, or some critical key pieces of your internship that you do. If your employer is okay with you doing that, or have a coworker maybe snap some photos of you in action at work, and we'll build a quick little PowerPoint, and that is kind of your capstone project, kind of summarizing what you did. And this particular assignment here will kind of wrap up and put a bow on, so to speak, what your experience was like and what you learned and so on and so forth. Other than that, some key things to remember. Should you run into challenges on your internship, being having trouble with coworkers or something of that nature, you need to please let Bill and I know ASAP. If there's some reason that you cannot complete your internship, we need to know that as soon as possible. Also, and most critically, if you are injured or hurt in some form or fashion, please notify one of us. We have a chain of command to follow and processes at the institution for students that are hurt during internship experience. So please keep that in mind. And as always, if you have any questions, please contact Bill or I, and we will follow up.